Hey, also Nitro Nerds here, giving you straight facts that you're not going to find on rcnitrotalk.com, hpasssavageforum.com, whatever. What do I mean? Well, here's an example. Take a look at the
stock setup.
Tell me what you think is wrong. If you had this, right, but yet you can't tune your engine, do you see something here that's stopping you? I do. But you're gonna have to wait till the end for the answer. Or maybe in the middle, I don't know. You'll have to stick around and find out. I'm gonna continue to say it. What I simply do not understand is how it is that there are people like on those forums as moderators, whatever, they position themselves to be around people that are new to this hobby. They basically set up a little system to filter newbies in, point them toward their little scene and fill them full of garbage. This is they set themselves up in an area to where you only hear what they have to say, and they don't entertain any other.
Now, it's certainly no problem having a area.
And this is what I'm here to say. There's a handful of reasons. And I would say, aside from the fact that they can enter so as an example, one of them, there's what they did. So, what's stopping them from being successful? What's preventing them from not being able to
Just
get other ideas? It's a my way or the highway type, situation. And again, what's wrong is, if that's what it is, fine, say it, right? But don't say you're not to take money. Fact: when running the stock clutch bell with an M2C variable weight flywheel, 34 millimeter, with the Robinson Racing Gen 3 steel spur gear, the clutch bell rubs against the brake disc. This is not to indict any single part. In fact, it's only high-level information I'm providing because I haven't discussed the shims behind the flywheel. I haven't discussed the shims in the inner and outer clutch bearings. I haven't discussed the engine plate, tooth, the clutch shoe weight, the bearing shim spur gear, as well as how tight the clutch nut is. There's a lot of different factors involved here. I can tell you though that I don't think any of those variables affect it, and the reason it's problematic is because the clutch bell gets hot, the bearings pop, grease goes inside of the wall, the clutch shoes then slip, the engine simply cannot be tuned at this point. Now fortunately, I did not have an issue here because I noticed it the instant I started the truck up. I actually saw a little spark coming from where the clutch bell hit the fiberglass brake disc. Consequently, the clutch bell was never afforded the opportunity to get so hot that the bearings would pop. However, you can see here, to tell you the what. Per the bell, I have yet to figure out the why. Even though I have an idea, I think it has. Regardless, I'm here to tell you that that combination will cause an issue. However, as always, we like to provide a mitigation, and that is you can use a 17-tooth vented HPI bell, as you can see here. accuracy nerds here. I guess I'm not real sure how to explain this, but I just feel like something different. I feel like taking one and putting it through its paces. See, I've got a few of them that are taken apart, and I'm thinking in the long run it's best if I just focus on one. So I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to pick one at random, and today is Thursday night, late 11 o'clock. Cowboys just won, by the way. And have this vehicle ready to just go off this weekend. So, here's the legend. Let's see, I've got my beloved 810, my Mugen, Savage, Tamiya 1XT. I'll get to my preference after I make the choice, and to keep it random, I went ahead and just got a brand new app, never used it before, and essentially what I do is I press a button and it makes a choice. Let's do it. Alright, before I show you the result, my preference was not chosen, and that was the Mugen. I really just wanted the Mugen because it's been a while since I got with it, and I'm about to flex some muscle.
But I am happy with any choice.
Including this one, because they all have something to offer. Drum roll, please, Mr. Soundman. Otherwise, I'm just gonna convert. Close enough. The Tamiya 1XT.
We just oh yeah! You come home with the champ. We got
Moving and grooving, the Tamiya 1XT, while not the roughest vehicle in our fleet,
this bitch can dance.
she's got moves within moves due to the way she handles, and each time I take her out,
We're going on a hell of a ride.
So we have a few quick caveats. First, part of this exercise will include breaking in a new engine. So you'll see me go through and break in an engine, but I want to first get the vehicle ready for the break-in engine, and I'll use a temp engine. So the temp engine, again, we'll select one at random. Let's go ahead and go with either, you see here the legend, the Alpha Lutz or an Over OC 28.5. Both need a rebuild. So, both will do it proud, I promise. And the result is...
Give me 4-5 seconds so I can grab that weapon and let me load it and cock it and send that ass to heaven. Listen here, punk bitch, I'm from the G gang, that OPB down to the ESP thing. No time for these lanes, I know to eat lane and do the part 6 while I'm slapping some cheese, man. Heavy hitting bitch, say it again. I'm macking on your bitch and our nice young friend. That highest gold got when the mafia comes around. We gangsta slash piss when we come to your town. Bitch, now don't frown. Popping at the cross town. Watch your mouth, little nigga, before you have to be found. Don't step up to the plate and get knocked back down. We gangsta pimp mafia and we don't play around. Come here, you beastie. Bitch, give me some info and tell me where they hang at so I can get low.
So here you can see my agenda. It's quite a bit. Again, my intent here is to challenge myself. Not only do I have to rebuild an engine, plus a starter box, break in an engine, etc., I have to ensure that the vehicle is optimized. So you can see me here beginning with the first task, and that is to give the vehicle just a once over. Specifically what I'm doing is removing a lot of the slop that has reared its ugly head into this vehicle, and I did so by capturing many of the links in addition to replacing the links. Perhaps I'll do a separate video on this, but I can say that I've reduced the slop by about 70% with this approach. Now in part 2 of this epic series, what I'm going to do is show you how I test out the engine after I've rebuilt it. I'll do a detailed video on the rebuild, but the intent here is to show you all the work that goes behind getting your vehicle to rip ass. Now how about some viewer mail? And I really appreciate questions like this. You know, the fact that you feel comfortable coming and asking anything you like. Just obviously don't come with that goofy shit and we can converse. So I do get asked about the weather pics, and this is a very long story, especially for me. I'll try to be succinct as possible. Short version is, I am a professional weather photographer, except nobody knows who I am and I don't get paid. Many moons ago, I started taking pictures of the moon and sending it to a local station here. And if you're local, chances are very strong you've seen my pictures shown during the weather. Now what's humorous or childish, however you want to look at it, is after about 2 months of just anonymously sending pictures, one day I was able to take a satellite picture of Uranus, and I informed them about how it would be interesting to be able to see the gases being drilled into Uranus, things like that, and that seemed to catch their attention. Now, of course, while they publish my pictures, they don't publish the caption. I don't think I'm mature enough to handle that anyways, but if you're here local and you watch the weather on one of the 3 major stations, then you've seen my photos. We'll leave it at that. But otherwise, and it's not like I have any sort of skill for what it's worth. I don't know what, I just take pictures of an interesting sky and they get published. And now for that's all I can tell you. Odd random items that, for whatever reason, I seem to have unconsciously procured an abundance of. Knives. Now, I'm not a knife guy. I really never have been, but I think I've started to really like the look and feel of them, and I feel as long as you have a purpose, and I actually have a very distinct purpose for each one of these, then it's a pretty cool thing to collect. I mean, knives are pretty badass. There's a wide breadth of them, and I'm sure there's a very strong and technical group of hobbyists out there. I don't know. If you know me, then you know how I approach things that I struggle with, and sharpening knives was one of them. So I have a fairly interesting mini documentary on how it is that I now sharpen my knives and the steps that I went through in learning this. Oh, and concerning my little trivia at the beginning, and that is, what here is preventing me from getting a tune? Come on, guys. If you didn't know, please come back more often and get that real shit, because the answer here is the linkage. You see how it's not centered? What this is going to do is wreak havoc on the carb slide. It's going to make the carb slide inconsistent. When the carb slide is inconsistent, the brake and throttle response is obviously going to be inconsistent.